Hey guys, so in today's video I want to share with you how I use my iPad for school productivity and creative projects. I'm going to share all of my favorite apps as well as accessories that I use with my iPad. Before we start, I want to quickly thank Paperlike for sponsoring this video. You'll hear more about them towards the end of the video, and with that being said, let's get straight into it. So firstly, let's talk about some basic info and all of the accessories. So the iPad that I have is the 11-inch iPad Pro. I bought it over a year ago, and I'm pretty sure that it's the 2018 model. Along with it, I also have the second generation Apple Pencil, which attaches magnetically to the iPad. Without it, I don't feel like the iPad would have been worth it for me because it just enables me to use the iPad for so many different things. Whenever I know I'm going to use the Apple Pencil for long periods of time, I'll usually put on a silicone grip because it makes it easier for me to control and hold the pencil. The case that I have on my iPad is plain black. It turns the screen on and off, and it's magnetic, and it's also one of those cases that folds into a triangle and has two different positions. I use the lower position when I'm typing or writing with the Apple Pencil, and then I use the higher position when I'm reading something from the iPad or watching movies. The keyboard that I use with my iPad is the Apple Magic Keyboard, and no, I didn't buy it separately just for the iPad. It came with my computer. So whenever I need to do a lot of typing on the iPad, which by the way happens rarely, I just pull out this keyboard and use it, and it works perfectly. I also wanted to show you the wallpapers. So both of them are pastel, and I got them from this website called Unsplash. As always, I'll link the wallpapers and everything else I mentioned down below. The first app that I like to use for school is Goodnotes 5, and this is where I take all of my digital notes. I'm not a paperless student, but most of my notes are taken digitally because I love all the customization that digital note-taking can offer. I love the fact that you can easily move things around, change colors and sizes, import images, diagrams, and mind maps directly into your notes. And if I ever want to, I can even print out my notes and put them in my binder, whereas I can't really make my paper notes digital. I'm going to make an in-depth video talking about how I take notes on my iPad and all the different settings I use in Goodnotes 5. So if there's anything specific you'd like me to include in that video, please comment that down below. The next app on the iPad that I use for school is Notability, and this is where I annotate presentation slides, documents, and just general readings. Notability is an alternative to Goodnotes, and for the most part, they have very similar features, but there are specific things I like in Goodnotes 5 for note-taking, and other specific features in Notability that are really convenient when annotating. One of them is the fact that you can save many different highlighter colors here, and I also love how the type tool works in Notability. It's so much better than the one in Goodnotes 5. Recently, they also added this cool feature where you can favorite your most used settings and add them in the toolbar and quickly access them, and I think it's so nice and convenient. The next way I use my iPad for studying is by turning it into an external monitor. So if you happen to have an iMac or a MacBook or just any Apple computer as well as an iPad, you can actually pair them together through the built-in application called Sidecar. And all you have to do is, it just takes a few seconds. You just go up to AirPlay settings and just choose your iPad, and that's pretty much it. You don't really need any cables or anything for this connection, and the connection is really stable just through Wi-Fi. So there are a lot of different settings in here that you can play around with. The one that I mostly change is just the arrangement of the displays, where you choose where the displays are located. I mostly use this whenever I need to run two different applications at the same time on my Mac, and this is because split screen just doesn't give me enough screen space to use both applications, and also it only takes a few seconds to connect the iPad, and using the iPad as a second screen is a lot more convenient. Moving on to the last app that I use for school, which is Quizlet. So this is where I either create my flashcards or I just use flashcard decks that other people have already created. The reason I love Quizlet is because it turns flashcards into quizzes with different types of questions like multiple choice, true or false, and more. And it just makes learning so much fun, and also learning through active recall is so much more effective than just reading your textbook. My favorite app in the productivity category is Notion, not only on the iPad itself, but on every other device that I own. And that's because I've been using Notion to plan and organize my entire life for over 2 years at this point. I plan all of my projects and videos in here, organize my studies, keep track of my quotes, my finances, all the books I want to read, and so much more. The reason why Notion is so versatile is because it works through blocks. So you add different blocks to pages, and with blocks you are able to build up so many different kinds of pages. So if you guys are interested in a video where I show you how I use Notion or how I plan and organize my entire life in general, please let me know in the comments. I'll be happy to make that. And also, before I forget, I also love Notion because it is free for personal use, and if you're a student, you can get the premium plan for free as well, which is so amazing. The next app I use to be more productive is called Now and Then, and this is a time tracking app. So how this app works is that you create different categories of things that you do, and then all you have to do is just tap on the category once and it'll start tracking your time. And if you change the task, all you have to do is just tap onto another category. The app provides you with an overview of everything you did throughout the day, and it also gives you in-depth reports on what you spend your time on daily, weekly, and even monthly basis in different formats. So it's super interesting to look at because it helps you manage your time better, and personally it motivates me to procrastinate a lot less. The last app I use in the productivity category is Google Drive, and this is where I pretty much have 90% of all the files that I own. Having your files on a cloud-based storage is really convenient because you can access the exact same files from anywhere, from your phone, from your iPad, and from your computer. I use a lot of different devices, so it's really convenient that whenever I make a change in one place, all the other devices get that change and update as well. When it comes to getting creative, the app that I use the most is called Procreate, and this is an app for digital drawing. So within the app, you can add and import so many different brushes. There are a lot of different settings and options, and just there's so much that you can play around with. I'm not necessarily great at drawing on paper or digitally, so I mostly use this to make little animations and overlays for my videos or create quick little illustrations that are super simple, and I mostly just use it for fun whenever I want to doodle or something like that. It's quite fun to get creative with the Apple Pencil and just play around with the app, and yeah, it's just really nice. I love doing it in my free time. The second app I like to use that falls into the creativity category is Snapseed, and this is where I edit most of my photos. The reason I love using Snapseed is firstly because of its unique interface. I really love how the user interface is designed, and I also love using the app because all of the features work really nicely and they are completely free, so there isn't a premium version that annoys you every 5 seconds. I edit pretty much all of my photos on the iPad because there's a lot more screen space compared to my phone, and also on the iPad I can use the Apple Pencil and be a lot more precise, so it's just a lot easier to do it on the iPad. The last category we have today is entertainment, and there are only a few apps here. The first one is YouTube because I love catching up on my favorite creators. Not only do I love making videos, but I also, of course, enjoy watching them myself. I usually do that whenever I have long study breaks to just freshen up a little. The next app I use is Netflix. I'm not subscribed to it all the time, but every few months I resubscribe to catch up on my favorite TV shows. However, as soon as life gets busy and exam season comes around, or maybe even midterms, I unsubscribe so I can focus on my work. And the last app I use is iBooks. This is where I read a lot of fiction and self-development books, and the reason I love using it is because with the Apple Pencil, you can just click and drag and it works really well, and also the highlighters are really nice and pastel, so I love using them. Lastly, I wanted to do a quick review of my matte screen protector for the iPad because I got a lot of questions about this. So the one that I have is by the brand Paperlike, and I've been using it for over 6 months now. It feels and sounds like you're writing on paper, which is so much better than writing on the glass screen of the iPad. Here's what it sounds like. It also reduces glare and fingerprints, and most importantly, it adds just the right amount of resistance so you can have more control of the Apple Pencil. I've noticed that my handwriting has become a lot neater after getting the protector, and so far the tip of the Apple Pencil hasn't been damaged at all, even though I've used it pretty much daily for 6 months. Paperlike has worldwide free shipping, so if you're interested in checking them out, you can click the link down below in the description box. Before we wrap up the video, question of the day, let me know in the comments down below what time is it for you guys when you're watching this. Currently, it is 8:34 p.m. for me. If you've enjoyed this video so far, subscribe if you haven't already and turn on your notifications, and feel free to comment any videos you guys want to see in the future. Make sure to have a wonderful day, and I'll see you super soon with my next video. Bye!